intellectualize yourself out of the human desire to be loved. And that's why I think this entire decenter men, get hobbies instead of dating, it's all BS. And it's coming from people who are too embarrassed to admit how lonely they are out of some shame they feel for perpetual loneliness.
Decentering men is BS. Do you agree with that, or you want to debunk that? Let me know down in the comment section. I have this interesting video to share with you all. This lady here is saying that some women talk about decentering men, and they try to make single people that come out to say, oh, they need companionship, they need somebody to love, or they want to be in a relationship. They make them feel bad and tell them all you need to do is focus on yourself, love yourself, blah blah blah. But then as humans, we need love. We need someone to love us. So it's okay for you to have a relationship. Then why do you tell people to decenter men? Let me go ahead and roll this clip for you all to watch to the end, and I'll be back to share my thoughts at the end of the video.
Not intellectualize yourself out of the human desire to be loved. And that's why I think this entire decenter men, get hobbies instead of dating, it's all BS. And it's coming from people who are too embarrassed to admit how lonely they are out of some shame they feel for perpetual loneliness. I will explain. All over my For You page, and especially my Twitter, over the past 2 weeks, people have been discussing this topic, which granted is a reoccurring topic, that you need to decenter men. That phrase should exclusively apply to not teaching girls that the best thing they can do in life is become a wife and mother, in terms of don't center your life around being an accessory to a man's dream. Right? You should have your own personhood. What it does not refer to, and what I think it's very detrimental to tell single people that it refers to, is this idea that you shouldn't prioritize romantic love, right? Human civilizations across time, almost every civilization has prioritized familial love, platonic love, the love between your friends, and romantic love. It's the stuff that makes up our fairy tales. It inspires our hopes and dreams. We are wired to want these things. Humans are social creatures. We're meant to live in community with one another. We're programmed to love and to be loved. And pretending you can just watch these TikToks or read a couple of books, get out of this human desire, is nuts. And it doesn't even apply when you look at the ways we treat the enduring grief that comes with not having the two other types of love besides romantic, right? Because if I say I don't have a family, my parents are dead, I don't have siblings, or I don't have a good family, I don't have contact with them, people recognize that that is enduring grief that I will experience for the rest of my life. We acknowledge it on Mother's Day, Father's Day, the holiday season. We hold space to listen to the stories of those who are hurting, even those who have found family. Just this idea that there is something so painful about not having anyone who's related to you or the people who raised you. Similarly, we hold space for people who don't have any friends. People talk about how traumatic and genuinely heartbreaking it was to not have friends in primary school. It's something that still tinges when they're an adult. And then when people discuss how lonely they are because they don't have romantic love, then it's suddenly oh, you're so desperate. Oh, you need to get over that. You just need to get a hobby. Frankly, you should stop trying to pursue it. And it's why? And I never realized how hypocritical and cruel we were being to single people until I got into my current relationship. And I know that I'm going to marry my boyfriend. This is the best relationship that I've ever been in. I'm genuinely really happy. And it made me realize so much of the advice that we give to single people is just absolute bullshit. Telling people that a healthy, happy relationship is not something to want feels crazy, because if you are watching this right now and you are in a happy, healthy relationship, you know damn well that it's better than being single. Even the best times that I had being single, because there's something about being fulfilled romantically. And it's not something that can be made up for with my friends or my family, even though I have very strong friends and family relationships. It's just not the same. And that's fine. Why do we meet people with such disdain when they say they're lonely, especially knowing the onus we put on women especially to get partnered? This advice is never coming from people who are either really happy with being single or who are in happy, healthy relationships. It's coming from people who are fighting back the tears when they're making these videos or giving out this advice well, actually, I'm fine with my state and you need to be too, because I don't want to hear anybody else talking about it. That's very much the energy that it gives. And I'll end it on this note. There is a particularly disingenuous way that we talk about people who have been affected by the lack of romantic love when they acknowledge that it's because they don't meet the beauty standard, right? Yes, everybody is beautiful, but we know that some people they meet a specific beauty standard, and the people who don't, you have a harder time dating. Why are you making them feel bad for saying that? A girl got on my For You page and she was talking about the fact she was a heavy girl. She was talking about the fact that her weight made boys not like her. I've never been fat, but I know that that's true because I see how people treat other fat people. And the comments were gaslighting her. They were like, no, like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. Like, you know damn well. It feels so mean, especially if you're a person who's like always gotten romantic connections or you've always been desired romantically, to tell a person who's never had that, who's like on the internet crying or in real life crying, like, I wish this happened to me, and be like, it's actually not that great. Like, you don't need it. Like, it's like looking at a starving person and then eating a hamburger and knowing that your entire life you've just like binged out of the most decadent foods and being like, the food's actually not that good. Like, you're fine. You don't need this. Anyway, the post-gym glow is like so real.
Hey beautiful people, how y'all doing today? Jogo Mara Davis, and I'm back again with another interesting video. What is your take on this video? Do you think Decentering men is BS or not? Let me know down in the comment section. I have interesting issues to share with you. All people are giving their 2 cents, and like, okay, let us listen to what they have to say, and I'll be back to share my own thoughts at the end of the video.
I think this entire like decenter men, get hobbies instead of dating, it's
no. There's a reason why we do need to decenter men. This has nothing to do with not want to, whatever you're saying. That has nothing to do with what it means to decenter men. 2 things can coexist. Okay? Just because somebody is saying decenter men doesn't mean that they don't want companionship or they want to be lonely or whatever you're saying. Yeah. 2 things can coexist. You can want that, but also not make that your whole personality, your whole life. That's what they're saying by decentering men. Yeah. Okay? Because they don't do that to us. Men do not center us with their whole lives. They don't. And what we're doing is that, and that's not working. So that's why this whole decentering is being expressed. And there are many stories being told about why you should decenter men, and they're true, they're valid.
You cannot intellectualize yourself out of the human desire to be loved, and that's why I think this entire like
good morning. Okay, I love when Alexia wakes up the app. It just does something to me, okay? She's just so intellectual and so smart, and I just love it. She's waking it up, baby. She's waking it up. Listen, I knew the gag was up when I had a homegirl. Shout out to her. She knows who she is. I had a homegirl, and we were just sitting there talking. She's in a, like, now it's not a new relationship, but she's in a relationship. And, she's, doing all this and saying all this and not complaining, but, just saying certain stuff. And I was like, well, damn. Is it like, how does it feel to have like a man, like a boyfriend? Like, I'm asking because I don't know. And she was like, oh, I'm not going to lie, it's so much better than being single. And I was like, what? You just went on a tirade. But anyways, I knew the gag was up from then. You know what I'm saying? And I always say this, like, literally, if I was single and I had money, like, I probably wouldn't care. But because I'm single and I don't have the money that I want, I do think it's important to find partnership. And again, this is not for everybody, but I do think the commentary around decentering men isn't really being talked about in the right way. And because the internet has this bullying culture, we'll sit there and we'll just start dragging people for saying that they want companionship. And that's why when I did my Winnie video, I tried my hardest not to go in on her, but she absolutely needs help, right? But, for other people who come on here and said, it would be nice. I do want a man. I do want a boyfriend. I do want to build a relationship. They get kind of dragged, and people automatically assume that they don't have things outside of that. And for me, for example, right? Like Alexia was saying in the video, I have amazing friends. I love my fucking friends. Like, I love them. I have amazing coworkers. Like, it's up in that department, okay? Everything is up. The only thing where I'm lacking mostly it's just my relationship, my love life is drier than the Sahara out here, okay? Terrible. So I can't imagine with how great my life is going with all these other things, how much more amazing it would be to have a partner to add to that, right? And so I'm not here to say whether being single or being with someone's better. I don't fucking know, bitch. I'm single as fuck, okay? But what I'm saying is that I do see my friends, you know, I see maybe why they fight a little bit harder to be in their relationships, because the help that you get, the intimacy that you build, you can't really do that with any other person, no matter how much you love your parents and you love your friends. You know what I'm saying? When I'm sick, I can't really expect my friends to stop what they're doing and to help me. Now, would it be nice? Yes. But it's in those moments where I'm like, you know what? It would be nice to have a partner. And also vice versa. I'm at that point where it would be nice to just care for someone else outside of myself. You know what I'm saying? So I get the whole point of decentering men. Yes, have other hobbies. Yes, do other things. But what happens when you do the other things and you have the other hobbies and you go yoga and you do Pilates and you go to work and you drink the coffee, you do all these things. What happens then? There's still a yearning for companionship. There's still a yearning for love. And so, you know, I try my hardest not to go in on women who have maybe a desperate type of energy. I know it doesn't work for myself to have that desperate energy, but I also can't fault people, you know? And also for the people out here like, just wait your turn, just wait it's gonna come. Girl, shut up. Shut up. Okay? Because it's like, just shut up. I'd rather you just let single people complain, because when people in relationships complain, we give y'all all the advice in the world and y'all still don't take it. So when single people complain about being single, just let them complain. Like, you know, saying that it's gonna come when you're not looking for it. Well, I'm not looking for it. Where the fuck is it? Y'all don't have the answers, just like we don't have the answers. You may have just happened to find your partner at a time where everybody was finding partners, or you got set up, or whatever the case may be, right? But like, stop telling people that. Like, just because I'm on a dating app where I'm actively looking for love doesn't mean that I'm centering a man in my fucking life. That just means that I'm looking for companionship. But what's so fucking wrong about that? Let's talk about it.
Be loved, and that's why I think this entire like decenter men, get hobbies instead of dating.
I do see both sides. You know, I'm somebody that I do feel like I'm ready for a relationship at this point in my life. That's what I want. I don't have no shame in admitting that. I will get it when it's ready to come to me. I also have noticed, though, when I focus on myself, right? When I pick up hobbies and do things that make me feel fulfilled, the desire for the relationship, it doesn't go away, but it dies down a little bit. You know, it kind of fades out because I have other things that are fulfilling me and reminding me, hey, you could be happy in this way. You could be fulfilled in this way.
You cannot intellectualize yourself out of the human desire to be loved, and that's why I think this entire like,
if I could clap right now, I would, but one of my hands is holding my phone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot express, if I could take this TikTok and literally plaster it on billboards, I would, because I think everybody needs to understand this. We are getting to a point, and I've talked about this earlier, where dating advice is becoming so outrageous that it makes me, if anything makes me put down my phone and never pick it back up again for social media, it is absolutely going to be the dating advice on this app and on Twitter and all the other apps, right? It's just becoming too much. And this whole decenter men thing and telling every woman to go get a hobby, and why are we just so focused on men? I will personally explain to you my experience and why I'm so focused on getting a man. For one, marriage is a goal for me, and I'm a very goal-oriented person. And I really hate when people say don't look for it or don't do anything and it'll come to you, because that's not true for any other goal on the entire freaking planet. If I want to go to college, nobody's going to tell me to close my eyes and not think about college, and college will just come find me. No, you have to work hard and study in high school and not piss off 4 years of school so you can get into a college. If I say I want to become an engineer, nobody's going to tell me to close my eyes and just the universe knows I want to be an engineer so bad. I have to want it less for it to happen. No, So if marriage is a goal of mine, I don't see anything wrong with actually working towards that goal. Now, I realize it is a goal that involves another person. And I also realize that a lot of luck goes into it. And I can be the best person on the planet and still end up not getting married. I understand all of that, but I can also do things to prepare me for when I do meet a partner. One of them is, making sure that I am mentally and emotionally healthy, even physically healthy. It is going out and about in the world so I can actually meet people instead of sitting at home. There are things I can do to help my situation. So telling me to just not look for it is nuts. And then this whole decenter men thing and telling every woman to go get a hobby instead of focusing on finding love is A, like she said, very disingenuous. And B, some of us have hobbies. Some of us have jobs and some of us have well-rounded lives. And the only things, I don't even want to say missing, but missing out of those lives is romantic love. I read. That is a hobby. I go to the gym. That is a hobby. I have a 5-year-old son. That is not a hobby, but he has hobbies. And I go to all of his hobbies. We be at t-ball, we be at gymnastics, whatever. Hobbies are had in this household. It is not that I need a hobby. It is that I want love. And I'm allowed to want that.
Not intellectualize yourself out of the human desire to be loved, and that's why I think this entire decenter men, get hobbies instead of dating, it's all BS.
This creator, Alexia, is one of my mutuals, so one thing I am not going to tolerate is any disrespectful comments. It is okay to agree to disagree. With that being said, I want to speak about the essence behind decentering men. Decenter men is not an act in which women are rejecting romance as a whole, or at least that's not how I teach it. Instead, it's actually the opposite. When a woman is decentering men, it is her claiming and owning her own identity outside of them so she can receive romance at its fullest. If a woman is so attached to a man, she don't know who she is outside of men, always centering men, her conversations are all about men, this. How can she fully receive romance? How can she fully indulge in romance and truly enjoy being in that place without feeling a sense of lack? And that sense of lack comes from the fact that she doesn't know who she is outside of this man. So when this man wants space from her, when this man maybe leaves her, she's left with nothing. And then what happens is she begins to navigate romance, her future connections, from this sense of lack. Decenter men is us telling women, you do not have to navigate from a place of lack. You can navigate from a place of abundance and prosperity and a full knowing on who you are. So therefore, when you get into these romantic relationships, you can fully receive it and it feels whole and full and nourishing. That is what decenter men is. And that is the essence behind a woman finding her identity outside of men.
You cannot intellectualize yourself out of the human desire to be loved, and that's why I think this entire
This point is not bad at all, and the point that she makes is completely correct, just not in the terms of decentering men. I don't know why that term is getting misconstrued or why people are misunderstanding what that means. I don't know if the people saying that phrase are misconstruing what it means. And it's not supposed to just be in the terms of dating. I think you're talking about a completely different thing here. I relate to a lot of the girls in the comments, so I'm coming from a place of the same experience as a lot of you. So I'm not coming from a place of talking about something I don't understand. I was also somebody that didn't really get much male attention growing up, the one that's never seen, the friend that doesn't get flirted with while everybody else does, whatever you want to call it. Just, I don't have experience. The late bloomer, right? And I did experience women trying to invalidate me and trying to claim that self-love and just focusing on friendships, is better. or will replace romantic love. Me personally, I don't believe any kind of relationship is better than the other because they literally all are different things, right? There are things that you can do with friends that you can't do with a partner. There are things that you can do with family that you can't do with friends, or things that you can do with friends that you can't do with family, whatever. So I understand where what y'all are talking about. It's a very valid point because there are women, especially because everybody's hurt, so people are just kind of projecting onto each other. And when you as a woman talk about having lack of experience, the woman with experience, especially if it was an awful experience, will kind of invalidate you on that and tell you, oh, you don't need it. Oh, it's not all that. You're not missing out on anything. I understand the thing you're talking about. It's just not the same as decentering men, though. Like, that's not what the girls mean. Again, I don't know who's saying the definition wrong. Obviously it's something we've come up with, so some things about it may change. But decentering men goes beyond dating, right? It's about not centering men. Whether it has to do with the way you dress, and why you put that on. Like, are you putting on sexy clothing because you're thinking about men, or did you put it on for you? And it would be nice to receive compliments, but you just think you look good in it, etc. The way that you are in literally any situation where you're not making a decision fully for yourself and the gaze of yourself. Anything influenced by obsessing over what a man thinks. Okay? And that can literally even apply to women that are not straight. And when people say get a hobby, I know that can sound very similar to, if you just focus on this, then you won't want romance anymore. And I know that can kind of trigger what I talked about in the beginning of the video, but that's more than likely what the women saying that don't mean. Again, as someone with that same experience of not having much experience, like, I understand what they're talking about, and it's so true. Some people are saying Winnie, I think her name is Winnie Parker, like, her niche is dating. If it's not working out for you, I don't really see how it's your niche, but even then, like, when people say get a hobby or get hobbies, focus on, what you're doing for yourself. And within the conversation of decentering men, they're not trying to do the thing other women are doing, which is like, oh, you shouldn't want any relationship because you're not missing out on anything. And it's not all that. It's not the same thing. But it can be seen as such because it can be, I guess, it can trigger those experiences with those kinds of women who are more than likely also hurt. And, it sucks to have people try to tell you how to feel about something they've never experienced. But that's not what they mean. I'm going to take myself, right? If I get a boyfriend and I don't have anything going on with myself, and before that, my niche was dating and talking about wanting a boyfriend, and I don't have almost anything else going on besides being on TikTok, what the fuck is there to talk about? Not only are you setting yourself up for failure because your man knows nothing about you besides little quirks and the fact that you love to love him and the fact that you're on TikTok, but let's say I wanted to make a new friend, right? She's talking about her life. She's talking about what she does at her job, what she does for her hobbies, what she loves. And what the fuck am I gonna say? But it's like talking to those women who the entire time they're only talking about their boyfriend, not mentioning him where it makes sense because obviously he's a part of your life, but he's the center of everything you do. That is what those women are talking about. Yeah. It has helped me more than ever to get over the fact that, I feel like a late bloomer, by having more hobbies. That's not to say that I don't want romance, right? That doesn't erase that want. That doesn't erase that desire. It's just that men are not the center. And it is important to go ahead and find hobbies. Number one, if you have, especially an outdoors hobby, you might just find a man there. Boom. Now you got a new hobby and you got the man. But it's also the fact of you should have your own life, right? Like, if I ask you about yourself and all you're talking about is a man, who are you? Do you even know yourself? And so I don't really want to see this thing where we're taking something that is such wonderful advice, aka decentering men, and turning it into something it's not, on both sides. It's literally nothing but don't center a man and everything you do around a man. Because asking for people to donate for you to find a matchmaker sounds pretty close to centering everything around a man. That's not the same as just desiring a relationship whatsoever. But people will have their own opinions about that. If you want to donate, go ahead and donate that. And, you know, because we've just made this up to help just women more kind of focus on themselves while still having the desire to date, because that's what that is. You know, it can change a little bit depending on person to person. Like for me, decentering men, again, is like, am I doing something because I want to do it? Am I desperately on dating apps? Like, I can feel lonely and desire to date or feel a certain way about my lack of experience without men being like, without deciding, okay, because of those things or because of my experience, like with males growing up, like I'm gonna start doing things to try to attract them. Like, you're gonna put yourself in a bad situation. Anyway, I think this is a very nuanced conversation sometimes to have, because it can trigger a lot of hurt feelings, because we've all kind of, when it comes to dating, everybody's just living through it and then giving their advice based on experience, and then that builds up over time, and that's how we continue to improve that advice. And so it can be very easy for someone to get their feelings hurt if they hear something that sounds similar to what another woman who invalidated you said, but not exactly. You have to be very careful with how you're interpreting what people say. So yes, completely agree. Socializing, the desire for a relationship, that's all very real and valid. And I feel like there's no point in overthinking that or trying to make people feel like that's not true, because it's not fair that someone who's inexperienced should be told to shut the fuck up and like just be told that they're not quote unquote missing out on anything. Like, you can argue that with anything. It's not fair basically that you get to experience what you want while telling others not to. So I get it. Like, some of you don't know what it feels like to just be watching life and to be like watching other people's lives and to have like so little happen in your life to the point where you feel like a side character in your own fucking life. So I do get it, especially as someone who's lived through it. I'm not a woman that is experienced and had multiple boyfriends, and I'm trying to tell you how to feel. But let's not misunderstand other women, because two things can be right at once, right?
You cannot intellectualize yourself out of the human desire to be loved.
I am so happy you posted this video, because this video came right in time when I needed it in this specific time of my life. It is so irritating to see other women who crave romantic intimacy be passed off as desperate by other people, especially by other women. And I am one of those women who people could easily pass off as desperate. And the thing is, why is it desperate when a woman wants a romantic connection? She genuinely wants to experience a loving, genuine relationship. But if the same woman was to express her desire to expand her friend group, to strengthen her relationship with her family, no one calls her desperate. Like, I just do not understand it. For the past couple of months, I literally thought something was wrong with me, because I'm just like, why is my brain wired like this? Why do I crave romantic intimacy so much? Because I would see other women on social media talk about how they're decentering men, how they don't care about dating isn't really their thing, yada, 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 yada. And then here's little old me, where it's just like, oh, I would really like a relationship. Like, no matter how dirty I'm done, once I get over that hurt, I'll be ready for the next person who decides to come into my life and love me for me. Like, is that wrong? And then what makes it even more annoying is when someone expresses their desire to be in a relationship, and then everyone is just like, love yourself, focus on yourself. First of all, you can be very successful and still desire a relationship. You can have self-love and still desire to be in a relationship. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why that's always the response. And I'm a great example of being successful, being secure in yourself, but still wanting a romantic connection. I am 22, working on my second college degree. I have no debt. I work full-time as a pharmacy technician. I don't really have that much responsibility. If I'm not at home, I'm at work. If I'm not at work, I'm at home. I have two really great friends. I have a very close relationship with one of my aunts. Like, I'm doing pretty well for myself in life, especially at this age. So it's just like, okay, what's gonna be the next thing you're gonna tell me? Like, there's nothing wrong for wanting a romantic relationship. And I'm so happy I came across this video because literally since last month, I was literally about to go on this whole, oh, let's decenter men, like men, like whatever the case may be. And to come across this video and have someone say, like, there's nothing wrong for wanting a relationship. Like, we're human. We crave intimacy. We crave relation. Like, you're not a bad person. You are not a desperate person for simply wanting a romantic connection. You are human.
Decentering men is an act of BS. Do you agree with that statement or you disagree? Let me know down in the comment section. What is your own opinion? What is your take? What is your suggestion on this video? Kindly share it down in the comment section. Is it just me, or I just feel like the creator that made the video doesn't understand the word decentering men? I feel like she got the wrong meaning or the wrong idea of decentering men. And I feel like she's not just the only one. There are other people like that. I feel like when people talk about decentering men, people are saying hate men. People are saying don't have anything to do with men. People are saying run away from men. People are saying so many things that you don't have to have anything to center your life around men, or I don't know how to put it. You should just literally hate them. Don't be in a relationship. Don't stress yourself. Just be yourself. That is what some people think decentering men means. People really think decentering men is like that, but then decentering men is not like that. When people talk about, or when I talk about decentering men, I'm not saying go ahead and hate men. When you see any man that wants to come your way, run, or don't be in a relationship, don't start up any relationship, blah blah blah. That is not what decentering men is. And another question I'd like to ask, have you ever seen men come out to talk about decentering women? Have you? Because I have not. Okay, and you know the reason why men are not coming out to talk about decentering women is because when they are in a relationship with a woman, they don't center their life around the woman. They are not trained, or it wasn't like that. They don't center their life around them. You see these men still have their lives. They still keep their friends. They still have their hobbies. They still keep their job. They do, everything is secured, even when they're in a relationship with a woman. But let a woman be in a relationship, committed seriously, let's say marriage, with a man, all everything she's done is centered around the man. Most of the time, she doesn't have hobbies anymore. She doesn't even have friends anymore, because a lot of people will come up to meet her and be like, oh, be careful of that friend because they might snatch your man. Everything she does around, everything she talks about most of the time is my husband, my boyfriend, my man got me this. Oh, let me tell my man first before I go out. Oh, let me talk to my man. Oh, my man this. Like, it gets so irritating, and centering your life around them makes you not even have a life at all. And then when anything happen, any slight thing happen, or when the man start misbehaving, it affects the women so much that because you've made your life all about this man, you don't even have any other thing you do spare time, because anything you're doing spare time is just about the man. Even sometimes some women leave their hobbies, they leave the things that they love doing to try to learn what the man loves to do. Probably football. As a woman, some women don't even enjoy watching football. They don't like it. But because they're in a relationship and they want to, center their lives around this man, they just watch the football and try to enjoy it just because their man is enjoying it. They forget that they have their own hobbies. They have to focus on the things that they like, but they are, helping the man to build his hobbies, or how will I put it? So when you're in a relationship and everything you do is all about your man, you've forgotten about yourself, you've forgotten about a lot of things that you're supposed to do. All you're doing or all you're saying, having conversation with you, is all about your man. it shows that you're not decentering yourself from these men. And do you know why? These men do not center their lives on women. So I don't understand why women should center their lives around men. Decentering men is a beautiful act. It is not a BS for me. I feel like when you decenter men, when you focus on yourself, when you love yourself, when you're doing things for yourself because you want yourself to be happy, because you like it. I'm putting on a blue top because I like it, not because my man. If I don't like it and I'm putting it on because of him, I'm not going to be happy. So if you're doing things because it will make you happy regardless, I feel like life is easier that way. So decentering to me, I won't say is a BS. I feel like it will even help in your relationship because when most of these men, when you don't really put so much pressure, you're not really like all this love, they are all over you. They are always there. They want to impress you. They want to show you so much love. But when you center yourself around them, it's easier for them to show you shege. And shege means trouble. It's easier for them to cause trouble for you. It's easier for them to destroy your life. It's easier for them to just come inside your life and just destroy it in the way you don't even expect. So when you decenter them, when they see that, oh, okay, I've not even called her for 2 days and she's not even bothered, like, okay, you have other things you're doing, you have other things that is taking your time, you have other things that you're focusing on. They are not the center of your life. And I feel like life is more beautiful that way for me. So but then the decentering men that she's talking about, she was thinking about maybe decentering men is hating men, don't be in a romantic relationship with any man. No one is saying don't be in a romantic relationship. Nobody is saying you should not love anybody. Nobody is saying you should not get married. Nobody is saying you should not have a boyfriend and all of that. Or have them, but then have your life as well. Because the way society has made it feel is that everything we do about ourselves, especially women, is for men. Whatever you do, you're doing it for men. Oh, you're making this hair. Hope your man likes it. I'm gonna do this for your man. They don't make us feel like we're doing things for ourselves. So if you decenter men and you're making a hair for yourself because it makes you feel good, not because you want to make another person feel good that doesn't even center his life around you, if that makes sense. But then I'd like to know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section, and thank you all so much for sticking around to this point. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe, and kindly turn on the post notification bell so you can get notified when I upload another interesting video like this one. And of course, I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.